चलिए ठीक है।
Okay. So, uh, good morning to our respected expert and dear participants. First all of, I would like to welcome the Professor Raghavan Chaudhary, sir. It is my privilege to introduce Professor Raghavan Chaudhary, sir. Professor Raghavan Chaudhary, sir, is a senior member IEEE, and he received the BTech degree from IET Kanpur in 2007, the MTech degree from IIT IIT ISM Dhanbad, India, where he is currently as a associate professor. Professor Chaudhary has published more than 200 papers in international journals and conference. Professor Chaudhary was a receptionist of Young Scientist Award IETE I-83 of Institute of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers, India 2020. Young Engineers Awards of Indian National Academy of Engineering in Electronics and Communication Discipline 2020. Young Associate of Indian National Academy of Engineering in 2020. Young Engineers Award of Institute of Engineers India in Electronics and Telecommunication Discipline in 2019-20. He was and also receptionist many best paper award in various national and international conferences such as IEEE Asia Pacific Conference on Applied Electromagnetics Malaysia, Progress in Electromagnetic Research Symposium Singapore, and Antenna Test and Measurement Society India. He is an associate editor of IEEE Access USA, IIT Microwave Antenna and Propagation UK, Microwave and Optical Technology Letters. He is a potential reviewer of many journal and conferences such as IEEE Transactions on Antenna and Propagations, IEEE Antenna and Wireless Propagation Letter, IIT Microwave Antenna and Propagation, and IIT Electronics Letter, and others journals. He is handling many research projects in the capacity of principal investigators and co-principal investigator, a sponsor from different funding agency like Science and Engineering Research Board, SERB, DST, ISRO, DRDO, TQ with the worth of more than 3 crores. His some innovation is covered by local and national media. Professor is supervising and assist more than hours. So again, I would like to thanks to join with us, Professor Raghavan Chaudhary, sir. Sir, I hand over to you, sir. Just address to our audience, to your visions as well as your experience. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Kundan, for such a nice introduction. And means I'm amazed to see some of the numbers you have. I think you have updated in my short bio. I was not updated actually, but you updated. Thank you so much. So let me share. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
and as I told, particularly this presentation actually I made for especially for UG students. Okay, or those who want to enter in antenna engineering. So surely it will be very beneficial. Just a minute, I'm sharing. Yeah. So I hope you can see the slide. Kundan, please confirm. Can you see the slide?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Now it is visible, sir.
Okay, so basically, um, we are going to discuss. Okay, I'm not going to talk so much actually. I'm expecting that you will be asking the questions. Okay, so this is like a discussion. So I taken the very broad topic actually, antenna engineering, and there are several things in antenna engineering. Okay, and particularly in this domain, we are contributing towards compact antennas, circularly polarized antennas, MIMO antenna, 5G antennas. So these are the things. So I'll explain a little bit, but before that, we'll see the basics of the antenna engineering and how the things are working, and particularly what kinds of antennas. Okay, and in our daily life, where we can see these antennas, we'll try to experience all those things today. Fine. So let me first introduce my research group, okay, at Dhanbad. So currently, you can see the 5 full-time PhDs students are working with me, okay, and 6 PhD students already graduated from my lab, correct? And the lab is actually working towards reconfigurable metametal antennas, MIMO and cognitive radio antennas, frequency reconfigurable active array antennas, CP directed related antennas, FSS, EBG, and other things. Okay, the lab is sponsored by many funding agencies. Now let us start with the motivation. Correct. Before actually study anything, okay, or if you want to contribute in some area, so it is required to have some motivation. Why should I do? Okay, why should I do? Why should I learn these things? These questions should be asked actually, and then if we are starting, it will be a very great journey and the great learning, if you see. So now I'll show you one picture first. Okay, so here you can see, just a minute, I'm taking the laser pointer. So here you can see the number of pictures are there, huh? So in a center you can see high speed internet. Okay, 5G I put it here. So as we all aware, okay, the 5G is coming and the internet speed is going to increase. Okay, and this increased speed will benefit us in a different areas. Okay, like online education, what currently we are doing. Okay, seamlessly we can experience the lectures, interactions, discussions, correct? However, the 4G speed is enough actually to get this thing, but the thing in some things, some different applications, it needed actually very high speed internet. Like you must be heard about the Tesla. Okay, the Tesla cars are coming, and these are the driverless cars, correct? So you need to just uh, fill the destination, and the car will drive to the destination, right? But between these two, means origin and the destination, there are several things car need to experience. Okay, the first thing is that the car supposed to be experience a huge traffic if driving in a city, correct? And there are certain things. Okay, it is going to maintain the distance from the other vehicle. Okay, it maintains the speed. It will going to maintain the correct path. Okay, so for that actually we require a quick instructions. Okay, and for getting the quick instructions, okay, we require a high speed connectivity. Okay, so 5G is needed. Okay, or the future technology is also needed, because day by day the demands is going to increase, correct? Now you can experience, like many of the students are playing the online game also, so they can experience a very I mean seamlessly they can experience the this 3D games. Okay, and here you can see there's a picture actually. So this is the Amazon facility actually, where these racks, you can see at the bottom there's a small robot actually which drive in a particular location. Okay, so now here this is a there is no need of human intervention here. Machines can work. They can fix a particular rack in a location. Correct. In this way, this is going to be automated, and the work will be very easy, and the error chances will be very less. Correct. Here you can see this picture actually. Okay, so this doctor actually is operating here, and virtually if he wants to operate, let's say a doctor in let's say a doctor in Dhanbad, and he wants to operate in New Delhi. Correct. So like every movement should be very precise. Like if he is handling his hand actually, uh, so it's supposed to be very precise and very accurate at New Delhi, so that operation not going to be wrong. So for that actually we require a very fast connectivity. Correct. So that is why these research actually in electronics domain, particularly communication, or if I say the main actually like pressure comes over the antenna engineering, because uh, he has to design such kind of radiators or receiver, so that we can receive the signal without any disturbance. Okay, so depending upon the requirement, okay, like we want to do the online education for cars, okay, for medical applications, for movies, okay, we require the different kind of setups. Okay, but you can see here that terminal antennas, okay, terminal antennas are same, and the receiving antennas may be different. Like if you're using a mobile, a very small antenna you need it. Okay, if you want to do the autonomous car, okay, so the antenna will be on the top of the car. Okay, you can see different kind of antennas over the car. Correct. So it depends actually. Correct. So this is very important. Like if you are contributing in antenna side, so what will be the outcomes? Okay, where the common man will be going to benefit it. Fine. Now this is a picture. How many of you saw this picture earlier? I believe many of the students here, they have seen this picture, okay, on the roof, okay, and the terminals you can see here. Okay, basically you can see this picture very normal nowadays. Okay, people are taking these antennas over the houses, okay, for the proper connectivity. Now here this is a one of another picture. You can see, okay, a BSNL tower or other this tower carrying the different antennas. Number of wires are there. Okay, these are the all are terminal antennas. So here you can see. Okay, let me just tell you these things, because here are so many wires and other things. Let us try to distinguish here. So here you can see the red color actually. Red color lines. You can see this thing. These are the terminal antennas for particularly 3G, 2G or 4G applications. Correct. And these antenna, these blue one actually is we call as a link antenna, or this is a established to microwave link. Means between city to city we are connecting with these antennas. Okay, and particularly these antennas, okay, is going to operate within a certain region in a city. Fine. Now here you can see another picture. Here you can see there are these vertical antennas. You can see these antennas. Okay, and this is 4G antennas. Okay, so similarly you can expect the 5G antennas here also soon. Okay, so like if you see these things as a layman, you will not find the difference. Okay, when you open this structure, you will see what this structure is actually carrying. Fine, I'll show you the things, what the structures are carrying and what kind of antennas, and you will be able after this lecture to differentiate the different antennas. I hope so. Correct. So okay, so So I'll show you first a very simple antenna. Most of the students knowing about this thing. This is a lambda by 2 antenna or dipole antenna. The radiation pattern is like this, correct? And this is the monopole antenna, where this is lambda by 4. Okay, the length is lambda by 4, and this is what? A ground plane. Okay, infinity ground plane theoretically, and we have the radiation pattern like that. Like when we are using our mobile and other thing, the radiation pattern will be like this because we want to cover each and every point. Fine. So earlier you have seen the mobile, you know, in 2001, if you remember, this kind of mobiles are coming, and over the head of these things we have a spike. Okay, so this particular spike actually containing antenna, and this antenna may be the helical one or a simple lambda by 2 antenna like that. Fine. Okay, and this is the antenna, actually microstrip based antenna. You can see the similar kind of radiation pattern we are getting, and here you can see the gain is 2.57, which is sufficient actually to run the application. Okay, so this picture actually what I'm trying to explain here, that the mobiles, earlier mobiles having this kind of geometry of the antenna. Okay, this is a cover. Actually inside the cover the shape may be like this. Okay, now other thing is that, like if you see your mobile, okay, what we are using, without the mobile now the life is not easy. Okay, isn't it? So without this, now we cannot think actually the life, because so many things we want to do, so many things. From early morning, we are going to start checking the messages and other things. Okay, and official work, gaming, movie, so many things actually we are doing over the mobile. Fine. And for that actually, like you need to check actually that this mobile carrying a number of antennas. Okay, here you can see there is a LTE antenna. LTE means 4G antennas actually. This LTE antenna, there is a two polarization available for this antenna, so that information should not lost. Okay. Similarly, for the location based services we require the GPS. Google Maps वगैरह हम लोग use करते हैं, तो GPS antennas we needed. Okay. Then we have a WLAN antenna. Okay, if you find somewhere in a cafe or in a shop Wi-Fi, okay, so you are trying to connect. Okay, fine. If you have a password, you are going to connect. Okay, it will not going to be costly. And definitely we should not forget about the Bluetooth applications, and we require the Bluetooth antenna as well. A number of antennas. Similarly for the laptop as well and the tablets as well. Correct. So we require the antennas. We are actually surrounded by the antennas. Our life is going to be surrounded by the antennas. Okay, we cannot ignore the antenna part, and without the antenna, okay, all the devices are, I should not say the useless, but it is somewhat difficult actually engage ourselves. Okay, now what is the requirement? Try to understand. Okay, if this is the thing actually, these antennas are important. So like if I talk about the state of art, means what the current requirement should be. Okay, so for that actually I just divided into 5 parts. First, we need to develop a very small antenna which can fit inside the mobile or any handle device. Correct. Second, it should be circularly polarized. Why? That, like if the linearly polarized antennas are there, so we may lose the information. But if we have the circular polarization, means chances very less actually. But there's a problem. We have the gain issues with the circular polarizations. Okay. Now, because there are a lot of circuitry available in our handle devices, so we need to build an antenna such that it should be the electromagnetically isolated from the surroundings. Okay. The fourth one is, nowadays you can see that we are these mobiles are the multitasking, and we require a number of antennas. So people are looking a single antenna which can serve all the purposes. Okay, so for that we require the multifunctional properties. Okay, multifunctional properties in an antenna. Sorry. And that how we can make it compatible with the modern technology. Let's say the nowadays 5G is coming, okay, and the cognitive radio is now is very famous actually, because we can increase actually the data rate and other things with this CR technology. Okay, so as I told you, okay, this antenna picture carrying the number of antennas, okay, number of applications. So it is not like that these antennas are going to be useful only the mobile, okay. Certain other applications you can see here, okay, like if you check the radio spectrum, so it start from the 9 kilohertz and the 400 gigahertz. So start from the AM radio, okay. Then we have the broadcast TV, okay. Then we have a small window here, okay. Nowadays this is 4.2 gigahertz. Cell phones, and inside cell phone we have a GPS. Then we have a satellite radio, weather radar, okay, and the satellite TVs, Wi-Fi network, and nowadays highway tolls, correct. So everywhere the tags and other things we require this radiating or receiving elements, correct. So number of applications, okay. So starting from the 1G, 2G, 3G, now 4G. We already exhausted with 4G, and now the 5G is coming, correct. And the band, if you see here, this is in between these things 1.900 to 4.2 gigahertz actually, include the 5G, correct. So these are the some of the services actually IEEE defined actually. Some of the services I just clubbed here for you, like for the GPS. The frequency is 1.565 to 1.585. Similarly, like WLAN, we have 2.4 to 2.48 and 5.18 to 5.85. 2G and 3G, we have a, like you must be heard about these short forms, GSM 850. Okay, the GSM 850 is nothing but 0.824 or 824 megahertz to 894 megahertz. And other band is 880 to 960 megahertz. Okay. Similarly, here you can see the 4G bands here. So we are here actually 2.3 to 2.4, 1.7 to 1.8. And now the 5G is coming. So in between 500 to 6 gigahertz, several bands. And one of the very important band, ISM, industrial, scientific, and medical. So here like 2.4 to 2.48, 5.15 to 5.3. Now if like you need to ask the question here that where this ISM band is going to be we are using actually, like in our home, if you see many of us having the microwave oven, correct. And if you check the microwave oven frequency, this is the center frequency is 2.545 gigahertz, correct. So this lies in between here, correct. Similarly, other applications are also there. You please try to find it out. Okay. Now this is one picture actually I have taken from this magazine. It's published in 2020. So here they compare actually 4G and 5G, and they compare about 8 parameters here, that how the 5G will be beneficial over the 4G, like latency. Okay, here the latency is less than 1 millisecond. Okay, so like where like let's say the connected ambulance. Okay, nowadays the mobile ambulance these things is very famous. Okay, because the patient is there, and we are monitoring heart rate, okay, BP, and so many other things. Okay, and this information is supposed to send to the real time, okay, at the hospitals. Okay, so we require very fast exchange of the information. So the latency rate should be very less. Okay, so 5G is very less, so the connectivity is very perfect, and real time actually we can monitor things. Okay, the device density, data rate, if you see, this is around 10 Gbps. Okay, So these are some of the things like bandwidth, power consumption. Everywhere actually, this 5G technology is going to influence or change our life actually. Correct. But this 5G is actually in a two bands. Okay, one is a sub-6 gigahertz band. Okay, another is the millimeter. So this is most of the things actually with reference to the millimeter wave. Correct. Now, so far actually we have seen some of the pictures, some of the things actually which motivates to see inside the antenna. Okay, how the things are working and where particularly which type of antennas are going to be used. Correct. So these are the some of the questions actually. Okay, like when we are talking about the anything, we should know about the definition first. Okay, what is the definition? Very basic thing. Then how the antennas actually working, how they are radiating, how the waves are detaching. These are the things actually we should know. Another thing is what types. Okay, we have the different application as I told you. So we should have definitely types of the antennas. Correct. And we should also talk about the applications and what is the present status. Let's say if any of the participants wants to pursue the higher studies, okay, in this area. So what will be the present status or state of art, okay, so that he or she may start the work. Correct. So before going into that, actually, now I'm going to bore you because I'll show you some of the definitions, some of the things, and radiation mechanism, and like I'm going to talk about the physics actually. Correct. So before that, I'll tell you the content actually I have taken from this Antenna Theory, Analysis and Design. This book. This is a very famous book. Okay, and those who want to start in an antenna, please purchase it. This is a low price edition. Okay, this book is written by C.A. Balanis. Okay, published on Wiley. Okay, so now let us talk about the definition first. So we have the three definitions actually. Okay, but IEEE actually defines all kind of standards definition method. So we'll be carrying IEEE information, these things. So like in most of the dictionary, okay, if you see the antenna definition, so they written like as are usually metallic devices for radiating or receiving the radio waves. Okay. Now in a books actually, if you find, okay, so you will see that antenna is a transitional structures between free space and guided device. Okay, means there is a structure actually which plays a very important role between the guided media and the free space. And what IEEE says, this antenna as means of the radiating or receiving radio waves. Now here you can see there is somewhat special in a definition. What, like in a first definition, there is a metallic term they used. Okay, there is a metallic term they used actually, and this is actually based on the device kind of things. Correct. Now in IEEE, okay, you can see here, this is just they are saying that anything which is radiating or receiving, we call it the antenna. Means anything, maybe the metallic devices, maybe our body, maybe the electric body, anything which is radiating or receiving is called as an antenna. Okay. So you may remember these definitions, okay, of the antenna. Now let us try to understand the antenna as a devices. Correct. So here you can see, okay, conventional way of just showing the waves actually. Let's say this is sinusoidal we have here. Okay, and here you can see this is the antenna. Now this whole structure we are dividing in 4 parts. Okay, like this part we are calling as a source. Okay, where we are going to feed the time harmonic signal. Okay, then after we have a transmission line which carry actually guided media which carry actually these signals. Now this part, flared one, this one we are called as the antenna. Okay, this is responsible for, okay, detaching actually the waves, and here we have a free space, the radiated waves. Correct. So now the antenna actually we can understand, or the combination of the four things. Okay, source, transmission line, antenna, and the free space. Now, can we model it? Because as an electronics engineer, we should model it. Okay, so we all know the Thevenin equivalent. Okay, network theory, fine. So how we can connect these things? Like here you can see, this is a source, and if we have source, we have some impedance or resistance here. So let us assume ZZ. Okay, and this part, okay, we are calling it the transmission line, where this some standing wave or the signal, okay, is traveling through this guided media. Okay, now at the last you can see here we have a three elements, RL, RR, and XA. RL is actually we call as the losses associated with the antenna, means this particular part, okay, the flared one, I'm going to model here with these three elements RL. Okay, definitely antenna must be having some losses, correct, due to the conductor losses or dielectric losses, whatever. If it is made of the metals, so this will be metallic loss, otherwise dielectric loss. And RR, when this wave is going to detach it, okay, so surely there will be mismatch of the impedance, correct. Means this flared one and this one are some different impedances, correct. So definitely there will be radiation resistance, you know? So we are expressing this term as a R small r, correct. And XA is the imaginary part of impedance associated with the radiation of the antenna. What happens actually, continuously the things are radiating. So here you can see, if you just draw a two imaginary line here, you will find here that all the time you have the electromagnetic wave here. And when we have the electromagnetic wave, okay, in a particular region, we may expect actually the loss of this energy, correct, or the imaginary part actually, correct. Because the thing is, like, if you remember the capacitor, correct. So capacitor actually, like, storing the electrical energies, correct. And we are also expressing the losses associated with this, correct. So what's happened similarly, actually we may experience here at some part, actually all the time these EM waves are there, correct. And this EM wave contributing the imaginary part, okay, which may be losses, or sometimes it explains you about the storing capability of particular regions. Okay, fine. Now let us try to understand the type of the antenna. Fine. So we have a number of things. Okay, we have a wire antenna, we have a aperture antenna, microstrip antenna. I will focus over the microstrip antenna, correct. Okay, because nowadays in this area you may find the number of opportunities here. Then we have an array antenna, reflector antenna, and the lens antenna. Okay, so one by one I'll show you, and I'll show you the examples in a daily life. Okay, so let us start with the wire antenna. Okay, so wire antenna, just we can say this is a dipole antenna or lambda by 2 antenna, okay, or half wavelength antenna. So here you can see this is a feeder actually, where you are feeding the power or the time harmonic signal, and these are the two quarter wavelength lines here. And here this is we are calling as a lambda by 2 antenna, correct. Or this could be also explains with the circular geometry as well. We are calling as a circular or loop antenna and helix antennas also. Okay, so the similarity here is that all are the lambda by 2. All are lambda by 2, and these antennas offering almost omnidirectional this things, radiation pattern, correct. Now here you can see this is the working. You can see, like, if you are feeding from this point, correct. So what will happen? Because there will be current flow. Okay, there will be current flow. So if the current is flowing, okay, let's say this is a wire, is current is flowing, so there will be a magnetic field around that, and once the magnetic field is established, okay, there will be electric fields, correct. So the similar phenomena you can see in this animation here. So once the current is flowing, okay, so we have the electric field, okay, like this. Okay, you can see here, this is the electric field, and you may experience the magnetic field too. Correct? Fine. Now, means if you see actually in a daily life, you may experience the lambda by 2 antennas. Okay, like this is our old radio. Okay, जिसने देखा होगा पहले कभी. So we have this kind of antenna. Okay, so we may extend actually its length. Okay? So adjusting the length means that we are trying to adjust the lambda by 2 length. Okay, and walkie-talkie, we have seen in a mall, okay, and the police stations, okay, they are using the walkie-talkie. Fine. And on a car roof, you can see this antenna nowadays very famous. Okay, and in recent cars, you will see they remove this lambda by 2 antenna and they just put it a sharp type of shape actually. It carries actually the patch antenna or the spiral antenna. Here you can see the modem actually where we have the wire kind of antenna, and here this is the example of the FM antennas. Okay, this is the terminal antennas. Correct. Now the second type of antenna is the aperture antenna. Correct. What is that? So aperture means, like here you can see the pyramidal horn, conical horn, and rectangular waveguide. So you have aperture means there is a gap actually. There is a opening. Some opening is here. We are calling it the aperture. Now where these aperture antennas are using? So these antennas we are using in an aircraft, okay, or military application because we require a lot of power handling there. Correct. So this could be made with the dielectric or the matrix. Correct. Now these are examples. Correct. Here you can see this is in a lab. You can see this is the horn antenna, and here you can see this is antenna in a military. They are using a very big antenna working between 150 to 229 megahertz, and this is also a aperture antennas. Very small antennas may be working on the millimeter wave. Now here this is the plane actually aircraft. Can you find the horn antenna here? Can you find the aperture antenna here? Can you find anyone? Can you detect where is the antenna is here? Aperture antenna. So like if you see here, this is the opening here. Correct. This is the opening here, and here the things are going to be received and transmitted. Okay. Now this is the most important one. Okay, why I'm saying the most important? Because in the labs actually we are developing here, and those who want to start actually in a antenna domain, they may first start with the microstrip antenna, and then gradually they are moving towards the other kind of antennas. Correct, because these antennas we may fabricate easily in a lab, or we may procure the third party these things facilities as well. Very low cost facilities are there, so we may avail and we can fabricate this thing. So in a UG these things, UG project, final year project, you may take these things and you may develop one antenna and you may check actually. Okay, so you in your region you may find the number of the central universities or the colleges, IITs. Okay, so you go there and you can measure your antenna, or so in this way you can see how the things are working actually. Correct. So like if I talk about these things, microstrip antenna, so these are some usual geometries. Like one is a patch, one is a rectangular patch. You can see here is a circular patch. Okay, so microstrip. Okay, we need to understand this technology first. So we have the metallic line at the ground. Over that we have a substrate, and then the top metallic part actually we are trying to make some structure. So by machining we can remove this copper part and we have this structure. Okay, like here you can see they developed this antenna on simple FR4. Okay, this is a patch antenna, 4 gigahertz. You can see here. Okay, the green colored part is your dielectric part. This is a connector, and this is a metallic part. Similarly, here you can see. Correct. Now let us try to understand this technology first. It's very important. So as I told you, this is a ground. Ground is nothing but a metallic sheet. Okay, over there is a dielectric sheet, and then you have again a metallic sheet. So this is actually the technology, and what actually we are doing, that we are etching, or we are by machining mechanical process, we are removing some of the part of the copper so that desired shape we may get. Okay, so now here you can see, like if I'm talking about a simple microstrip line, okay, and if you are feeding from this end, okay, let's say this is a ground and you are feeding signal on the top of this, so this is will be the electric field and magnetic field like this. Here you can see clearly this will be the magnetic field because the current is flowing in this direction, so the magnetic field be like this. And because we are feeding, actually we are feeding the time harmonic signal, so we have the electric field like this. Okay, similarly the other higher versions, you can say, actually, like the copper lines we have. Okay, here you can see the different lines are there. Okay, these are the metallic lines, and defining the ground and the feeds, actually we may play actually with the electric and magnetic field, and hence we can change the impedances and all. Similarly, here you can see this is a patch antenna. When we are feeding from this side, okay, so the two sides are radiating and other two sides are not radiating because because of the opposite surface current. These are the cancel out, only this side and this side contributing in radiation. Correct. So this technology is very useful, actually, because we may print anything nowadays. We have the PCB machines, okay, and printed board machines. So we in a lab, actually, so we can just enter the information that you print this thing, so machine will automatically do all sort of kind of these things. Correct.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay.
Sir, can you please explain that in this patch, actually, which part is radiating? Like, is it the entire surface or any particular edge? From where is the signal radiating?
Your voice is not clear. Can you once again repeat?
Sir, I'm asking that in this patch, exactly which part is radiating? The entire surface of the metal is radiating?
No. What happens actually when you are feeding? Okay, when you are feeding, actually there will be surface current. Okay, fine. There will be surface current. So what I'm saying that let's say this is a y direction. Okay, in a y direction we have the anti-parallel surface current. So this will be cancelled out. But the surface current over here, actually. So if you have the surface current in like this in direction, okay, so there will be magnetic field and there will be electric field. Okay, so now you can assume, okay, over these things, okay, over the patch, actually you have the surface current. Okay, this is in bulk, and this surface current is contributing the magnetic field and hence electric field. Correct. So what I'm saying here, that particularly the horizontal these things, okay, these particular like for your understanding, I'm saying that let's say if you assume this line and this line, okay, these particular things are radiating, whereas the vertical vertical direction is not radiating. Correct. Fine.
Okay.
Now we heard about the conventional transmission lines. Okay, like in our home, we have the cable connections. Okay, we have seen black have a core and the outer conductor. Fine. So these are the conventional transmission line or two-wire transmission line. These are we are using for wiring and other purposes. But at microwave frequencies, actually, what happens that we have the distributed system. Correct. We have a distributed system. It means what? That like at low frequencies we may use a resistor, capacitor, inductor, okay, and other items, actually, but at the higher frequency we may not use, actually. Correct. So what we are doing, actually, by taking a part of the metal or the gaps between the transmission line or the wire, we are trying to build the capacitance inductor. Okay. So here, that is why we have for this distributed system, because means like we are saying that means every part of every these things may contribute as a capacitor inductor, so it will be difficult, actually. So as an electronics engineer, we supposed to at least establish a methodology by which we can clearly explain the things. So for that actually we invented a transmission line is equivalent model. Okay, here you can see this is in a shunt we have a capacitor, and in a series we have an inductor. Correct. So now here you can see this is a two-wire transmission line. Okay, when the current is flowing, okay, if the circuit is going to be complete, so there will be a capacitance between that. That is why in a shunt we have a capacitor, and because of this metallic part and we have a high frequency signal, so there will be a flux is going to be accumulate here, which contributes your what it will contribute. This is going to be inductance actually. Okay, and we should talk about the losses as well, because this is metallic thing, so it will be introduced what the ohmic losses. So that is why we introduce R, whereas here the dielectric loss, so we introduce a G. Correct. So I think this thing is clear to you. Correct. But there's a very good connection actually. There's a very good connection of the understanding of the antenna, how the waves are detached. Correct. So these are some of the planar line transmission line. Okay, like this is a microstrip line. Strip line means you have the two ground, means top one and the bottom one, and in between that we have a strip line. Okay, dielectric actually. Then we have a coplanar waveguide, coplanar backed CPW, and so many other configuration as well. Correct. So like when you enter in this domain, you will find that okay, these are the basic things or the backbone of the system. Correct. If you know, because there are so many things, like if I take the microstrip line, okay, so there are so many information, like what will be the impedance, what will be the phase velocity, group velocity, what will be the beta, and so many things actually. Correct. Like here you can see this is a microstrip here we have. So here we have to define all the things like in material property. Okay, then we have what will be the width. Okay, what should be this dielectric height. Okay, and corresponding that what mode will be there. Okay, so there will be no TEM mode, there is a quasi TEM mode. Okay, fine. So this is one quasi TEM. The reason is there here that h by lambda naught is less than, very less than 1, or other reason is that some of the electric fields are in the dielectric, some of the things are in a air, so there will be mismatch actually in a phase velocity, so we cannot claim here the TEM mode. Okay, and there are number of formulas, correct, by which we can calculate the effective permittivity, impedances, so many things actually. It's like here you can see the phase velocity beta and the effective permittivity. We can, so here you can see the H and W plays a very important role. So once we have the effective permittivity, we can find the beta, you can find the VP, correct, and finally you may arrive at Z0. Z0 is a very important thing. What is Z0? Z0 is a characteristic impedance. Like if you want to match, because microwave engineering actually struggles with the matching. Why? Let's say you have an antenna, okay, and your port impedance, let's say the 50 ohm, and let's say you have a wire or a transmission line, you want to connect it. It is not like that you are going to twist it and the things will be connected. The impedance match should be there. Okay, let's say if you have a coaxial line having the characteristic impedance of 60 ohm, and here this is a 50 ohm, so you need to connect an extra length of the wire or extra thing by which you can match the system. Correct. So it is very important to understand this matching part. So there's so many things actually. Correct. So this presentation basically will provide you the idea. Okay, that what are the challenges, what are the things actually. Okay, and how should we work and what should we take actually, so that the problem may be solved. Correct. There are other formulas as well. Here you can see the Z0, W by H. These are the design formulas. Correct. I'm not going into that, but just you keep this thing in your mind that we have to calculate the impedance part, okay, WH ratio and other things. Without that, we cannot design the system. Correct. Now here you can see a very good picture actually. This is a mobile actually. If you open your mobile, okay, if your mobile is not working, you can open. If the mobile is working, please do not open. Correct. So you can find here the number of antennas. Correct. So here you can see this is a GPS antenna. Okay. Then we have the feed lines. Here you can see feed lines. Then you have the 1800 megahertz. This is a 900 megahertz. This is an old one actually, old one mobile. correct? Here you can find the two different antennas, okay, and GPS antennas, the same. Okay, like here also you can see this is the antenna part, correct? It's connected. This is a Samsung mobile, old one. Okay. Now the next one is the antenna array. Okay, what is that? So like when we are keeping, like we studied the wire antenna, we studied the aperture antenna. Now if we manage this antenna, okay, or if we consider this antenna as a single unit and we are repeating in a particular manner, like let's say like Yagi Uda antenna. So here we have a dipole this thing, and then we have a reflector this thing. We cannot say this is a array antenna actually, but here the thing is these are the dipole working as a reflector and directors. Okay, but here you can see the correct picture. So we have the aperture here. So we just arrange this 6 aperture in this way. Or here you can see this patch actually in this way. So what is the benefit? Okay, why we are making array? So array actually, the idea come up these things to increase the gain of the antenna, okay, or the directivity of the antenna. Okay, so like why the gain in directivity is important? Let's say if you want to focus, let's say if you have a torch, okay, yeah, like we use torch this thing. So torch is focusing in a particular direction, or laser light if you see, and focusing in a particular direction. So let's say if our application such that we have to focus or we have to target a particular thing, so we require a very high gain antenna so that the beam width will be very narrow and it is going to be going to interact a particular location or the object. Okay, so this is some of the examples. Like here if you see, this is a 4-element array, 2 cross 2. Okay, so this is the radiation pattern. Okay, this is the radiation pattern. What is radiation pattern? Radiation pattern is the locus of this electric and magnetic fields. Okay, now if you increase, let's say this is a 1 unit, if you increase the units, let's say this is a 4 units. So here this is the thing. Okay, so here you can see the gain actually is 14 dB. Now from this radiation pattern, it is very much clear here that the energy is focusing at the broadside. Okay, that 0 0, and here you can see this is a single element. Okay, single element, you can see this is a broad radiation distance. Okay, so like if you increase the number of elements, it is going to be narrowed down. Now reflector antennas, many of us seen the reflector antennas. So the idea is very clear. We already studied these things in a class 8th or 10th, I think. So we have a reflector, we have a field. Okay, we are focusing like that. Okay, so like based on that, and we have seen this most of these things in our home. We are using DTH, Airtel, these things. So we have a dish antenna kind of thing. So here we have a feeder. Okay, so we are going to feed, and then the plane wave will be traveling. The idea of here, this is the plane wave actually we have to transmit, or when the wavefront is launched actually and falling over this dish, it is going to center at a particular direction, this feed actually. Okay, similarly here the big dish antenna for space navigation and all, we are using very big dishes actually, correct? So this is, we call it as a parabolic reflector antenna. It's a very interesting actually, the area where we can contribute. Then after we have the lens antenna, correct? So lens antenna, like we are introducing a dielectric medium inside so that the focusing will be very precise and very accurate. Here you can see here. So we have the white color is a dielectric actually, and here you can see this red one is very narrow one. Okay, so we are trying to focus in a particular direction. That is why we are using the dielectric lens antenna. Correct. Now, so far what we have seen actually, we have seen the different type of antennas where we are using actually. Correct. Okay, and little bit some information like the microstrip antenna, how we can develop these things, this technology. Okay, so we know. Now over that actually, the other question should come in our mind that like, okay, that is the antenna and it is going to radiate, fine, but how the radiation happens actually, how it is going to radiate actually. Okay, it's very important question. And like each and in each types of the antenna. Okay, if you see, we have to think about the radiation mechanism. Okay, so I'll give you one clue actually here. You know, with the help of the wire antennas, dipole antenna, how the dipole antennas are radiating, and now you can think the other antennas as well. Correct. So before that, I'll just share you a theory actually. Correct. I believe you knowing about this theory. Correct. So let's say we have a single wire. Correct. Sorry. This is a z direction. Okay, this is a cross section here we have, and we have a time varying. Let's say current is flowing. Correct. So let's say we have a surface ZZ. Z stand for the z direction. Correct. So how will explain this current, this surface current? Q into V. Fine. Now, because this is a surface current, so let's write here the ZS. Okay, and QS, charges over the surface. Fine. This will be surface, not volume, because we are dealing with a time harmonic signal. If this is a DC current, so we are talking about the whole volume actually. Correct. Fine. Now, like, let's say if we differentiate with respect to time, okay, so the equation becomes d of dt iz is equal to ql az, where az is actually acceleration of the charges. Correct. Now, if you see the complete this modified equation here, we just multiplied with the length of this wire. So L times of d of dt iz is equal to L QL AZ. Okay, so here change in current. Okay, you can see change in a current multiplied by length, and here you can see acceleration multiplied with charges and the length. Correct. It means what? When we have, means we can say this is a basic radiation equation. Okay, it tells about that how the radiation actually happens. So it means what? It means what? Like, when we have the charges, when the charges accelerating or deaccelerating, okay, when we have a radiation. Correct. Provided we have a time varying current or time varying feeding is available. Correct. So one thing is clear, that if we may have the accelerations, okay, we have the radiation. Okay, but how we can this control radiation? I'm saying that how we can control this radiation. Now, one thing is clear, that if we have an open wire, or if we have a cut in a wire, definitely there will be radiation. But maybe radiation will be not useful. So how we can make it useful? Let us try to understand. Okay. So now, like here you can see there are some examples actually. Let's say if you are going to curve your wire, or if you are going to terminate with a different impedance, or if you have the bend in a wire, or if you have a discontinuity, in all cases actually you have the radiation. In all cases, provided that you have the time varying these things. Correct. So there are some cases actually, if the charge is not moving, current is not created, and there is a no radiation. First thing. Second thing is, if the charge is moving with uniform velocity, let's say uniform velocity, then there is a no radiation if the wire is straight. Okay. If you are going to bend it, then there will be radiation. Means what I'm saying, like if we have the DC current, let's say, and if you bend it, okay, so there may be some accumulation of the charges at this bending. Okay, so it will create an acceleration and deacceleration. So there will be radiation. Otherwise, if we have the time varying signal, okay, and so definitely we have this things radiation. Fine. So this is very important actually to understand the two-wire system. So this is a transmission line model. Here you can see we can calculate the voltage wave and the current wave by using these formulas. And what is that? This is the reflection actually. Here this gamma L is the reflection, and reflection how we calculate? ZL minus Z0, ZL plus Z0. What is ZL? ZL is the load impedance. Okay, so maybe your antenna, let's say, correct, and this is a transmission line of characteristic impedance Z0. So here you have a voltage and current distribution like this. Correct. So these equations will let you know that you can find it out the voltage and current wave any of the location of the transmission line. Correct. Now let us try to understand. Correct. The antenna, how the wave is going to detach it. Okay. So this is, we have a source between these 2 points we have a transmission line, and then we have a flared system, correct? Okay, so what will happen when you feed the signal here? So what will happen? There will be sinusoidal variation like this. So we just mention here with this arrow, up and down arrow. Okay, sinusoidal nature of the wave, correct? Now the thing is, like, what will happen? How it will going to detach it? So when you feed actually the signal, so what will happen? It will be going to travel like this, okay, like a sinusoidal. So at a time when the wave is actually reaches at the end point of this, so what will happen? There will be an accumulation of the positive and negative charge and the positive negative charge here. So it will be create a charge neutralization. Why this positive negative? Because the waves is going to be accumulated here. Okay, so it tends to detach, but how actually? So it is going to create here the positive and negative situation, which is called the charge neutralization, and this charge neutralization will tend to move this wave or detach actually from this system. Okay, so when this is detaching, it will be look like this, these lines. But let's say if you see in a free space, okay, so you may connect actually. Okay, so this is actually in a loop. Always this electric and magnetic field in a loop. Okay, so this is electric field, this is a magnetic field. Okay, so in this way, due to this neutralization mechanism, we have the detachment of the wave. Try to understand these things. Okay, so here you can see situation here that t is equal to 0. This is the thing. Then t is equal to t by 8, t is equal to t by 4, and these things, the total detachment of the wave. Okay. Okay, so here you can see here. Let's say at t is equal to capital T by 4. This is these are the lines actually here. Okay, fine. Then we have at t by 2. What will happen? Other cycle will come in opposite direction. Then what will happen? At particularly this thing t by 2, when the other waves are also pushing, okay, what will happen? There will be positive and negative. This thing, it will create a charge neutralization, and the wave is trying to detach itself from the surface of the antenna. Okay, fine. Now other important thing is the field region. When we are talking about the antennas, correct, so there we are dividing the 3 regions. Okay, one is called the reactive region, another is a Fresnel region, and is a far field region. You can see here the 3 regions are there, and here you can see these are the limit actually. R1 is 0.262 under root g cube by lambda, and R2 is 2d square by lambda. So above this, okay, above this 2d square by lambda, we are in a far field zone. So what will happen actually? The locus actually, okay, the locus is not going to be changed. The reason is quite clear, because when you are in an antenna, near the antenna, there will be continuous pushing of the electromagnetic waves. So there may be chance actually of accumulated electric and magnetic field, and it will create imaginary storage actually, storage of electric and magnetic field. Okay, the imaginary part. Okay, these things. So here the things are means in a near field, the things are keep changing. Similarly, in between these two, we are not still sure. But after 2d square by lambda, this is a far field, and here this is a perfect, you can see the uniform plane wave. Correct. Here you can see this is a relative power pattern. Okay, this is a relative power. Okay, this is not absolute. So when you plot actually at r is equal to infinity, at r is equal to 4d square by lambda or 2d square lambda, so you can see actually, so r is equal to infinity, this is the thing, and 4d square by lambda like this, and 2d square by lambda is completely actually overlapping of these things. Apart from that, you must know about the different antenna parameters and definition, like radiation pattern. Okay, so as I told you, radiation pattern is just a locus actually, or the graphical representation of any of the properties, like say electric field, magnetic field, or the gain, whatever. Correct. And other important part is the gain actually. Okay, so the ratio of the radiation intensity in a given direction to the radiation intensity of an isotropic antenna. Okay, so this ratio actually we call it a gain. Similarly, efficiency is very important term actually, because when we are connected with the antenna, okay, the feed line and other thing, so there is a matching issue. The number of mismatching is there. It will affect the efficiency, okay, and aperture efficiency, polarization, and so many other things actually. Correct. Right. Now, this is all about actually the basic things. Now, I'll take few more minutes of you, okay, and just show you some of our contribution, what we done actually at IIT ISM Dhanbad. Correct. This is the main building, okay, and inside somewhere actually we have a lab. Correct. It is difficult to identify from the out. Correct. So this is one of the contribution from my PG student. Correct. And here you can see we developed a very small antenna which can be worked for the GPS frequencies as well as the other C-band frequencies actually. Correct. And the special in this antenna is that the first time actually, this is actually we call it as a metametal antenna. Metametal is a different story. You just consider this time that this technology actually we are using to miniaturize the circuits, okay, the antenna devices or the filters this time. So first time we are using the virtual ground plane and we got this results. Correct. Second, this is the contribution, okay, and this is a very small antenna. You can see this is the size of the coin and this is the antenna actually, and this is perfectly working at 3.3 gigahertz, okay, which may be very useful for 5G application, and the radiation pattern is omnidirection here. Correct. Here the contribution is that we used actually the EBG, electromagnetic band gap, for improving the gain. We used actually the very small radiator and the background plane, these things, to further improve the gain actually. Correct. Here you can see this is another metametal antenna. Here these are the radiator actually, and beneath of that we have a metallic sheet. This is all actually based on the microstrip technology. Correct. This is one of the recent contribution actually, and basically we developed for the space applications. And here you can see at the bottom actually we have the FSS, frequency selective surface. Okay, here particularly we are calling this is AMC, artificial magnetic conductor, and this improves actually the gain of this small antenna. Okay, and here you can see this is not only providing the miniaturization, this antenna offering the circular polarization. So we have the circular polarization, we have the gain improvement, we have the very small antenna as well. Correct. Apart from that, we are also working the DRA. Okay, in a field of DRA, dielectric resonator antenna. This is not a metallic antenna, this is a dielectric resonator. So particularly these antennas are made of the ceramics. Okay, and we are trying to excite a particular mode, and this mode actually going to radiate in a particular fashion. So this is the beauty of the dielectric resonator actually antenna here, and based on that we develop several circularly polarized dielectric resonator antenna. And this is what the recent contribution from my lab is, that MIMO cognitive 5G terminal antennas. Correct. So nowadays, as I told you, we require the very high speed and other things, and the proper use of the allocated bandwidth. Correct. So this CR system is an intelligent system which can pick up the empty band and going to be used by the secondary user. Correct. So for that actually, these are two actually communication schemes. One is called the interweave and underlay scheme, and for two different schemes we require the 4 different antennas. So we clubbed all the things we clubbed here, and we are make useful so that it can be covered interweave and underlay communication. So this is one of the things, and this is one of the thing recently one of my PhD student actually performed. He tried to develop the triple band circular polarized antenna, and he used anisotropic polarization. Okay, he's going to convert the linear polarization to circular polarization with some these frequency selective surfaces. Correct. So I'm not going to detail in this sense, and try to find the things where you can work and where you want to contribute. Okay. So in future, if you want to contribute in this direction, you may definitely contact me. We can discuss the inside what is actually happening. Okay, so within 1 hour it is not possible for me, but these are the things actually. Okay, new thing or state of art where the people can contribute. Okay, and this is one space antenna recently we developed. This is a you can see this is a 3-layer antennas. Okay, we have the AMC artificial magnetic conductor here, we have the antenna here, then we have again a mathematical unit cell to improve the gain. Correct. So we develop for these things some space agencies actually. So this is all about, and for your information, those who want to work actually in start to work in directly resonant antenna. So our new book is going to launch very soon. So this is expected to come in month of August. So you can see this book also. Okay, so this book actually I completed with my PhD student Rajkishore and Rakesh. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions and anything if you want to discuss with me, please, I'm open here for the question answer. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, sir. You
Kundan.
have given a very beautiful view on antennas to our participant. So, dear participants, now house is open for question.